Here's some trendline analysis of the US dollar. So one thing when it comes to analysis or anything like this is a view, or whatever view you're going to have on a market, it's your view. So your job is to try and build conviction behind your view. Because if you don't have conviction behind your view, you won't hold that view. As soon as price has one bar going against you, so to speak, you'll flip-flop. And so you have to build that view by repeating your analysis, going through multiple time frames and all of that, in order to build a conviction. Because half of trading is being able to maintain a conviction behind your view. So for now, let's just have a look at the dollar on the daily chart to start off with. We can see there's an old trend line here. We'll go and look at that in a minute. The dollar index has thus far successfully retested the low that was made in July. So we'll come back to that pattern there as well. Overall, I've got a number of trend lines on my chart here. We can see this horizontal line at around 100, the obvious, so to speak, the big round number level, which if we zoom out, you can see it's been tested that zone quite a lot over the recent years. And then we've got higher level horizontal levels above that. So let's just go into a weekly chart so we can zoom out somewhat and actually start having a look at these levels. So we can now clearly see that on the weekly chart, we'll talk about this channel in a bit when we go up higher time frames. So the dollar index peaked back in 2022. It came down. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, price traded in a range for much of 2023 and much of 2024. Then it had this what has become a false break to the upside. So it became a false breakout to the upside, and the reason we know that is because prices then ultimately come down to the downside down here. So we've had our false break, consolidation, false break, and now a move to the downside. Now that, in Wyckoff terms, some of you might call that a spring move or whatever. So because there's so many different types of analysis out there. So anyway, so we've broken down, and this is key, that we broke down through all of this. So we're going to just zoom out here. There you go. So this level, this 100 level, was key. We've broken it. We've come back up to retest that as well. So we're in a bit of a battle right now, if I zoom back in just briefly, whereby we've broken the 100 level. We came down to the trend line. We've come back up, retested the 100 area, and we've come back off. But we've got a little double bottom, so to speak, on the against those lows there as well. But if I zoom out, certainly we've got this trend channel. I'm going to go to that in a second. But certainly there's a lot of what I call clear air now, all the way through this zone here. But what does price need to do? Of course, it needs to breach that trend line. So let's come out to the monthly time frame and have a look at that. So if I come out to the monthly, we can clearly see this this rising channel here and that lower trend line there. Now, technically, like I've already said, the price had that chance to break higher back here, became the false break, and then we broke down. Okay, just zoom back out a little bit here. So this whole zone below, I call these, there we go, operating windows. So the next operating window is this entire sort of shaded zone back down to effectively 90 overall. So we've dropped into this new operating zone. There'll be mini zones within it, of course, where there'll be plenty of intermediate support levels, but this is the next operating zone for the dollar currently. Now, coming to that channel, it's a lovely channel. And it could well be, it's more than possible, like anything, that this channel is it's a nice trend line, rising trend line, that actually we've tested it, we've come back down and retested it. So if I can even zoom in here on the monthly, we see we tested it, we bounced, and we've come back down to retest. And that could be it. And we're about to see the dollar push higher within this channel in a more meaningful way, maybe taking us back up to the 104 zone. So that is a possibility as well, even within this framework of this false breakout that we took out back here. We still could come back up to here before then going for a break. So that is still a possibility. But this is the thing, isn't it, with analysis? You have to go through the range of possibilities and then look to trade accordingly. So one trader might say, yeah, I want to be long down here. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with being long the dollar in this zone. It's a good technical trend line here as it's come into, and we could indeed get a bounce up there. But another trader may look at this and say, well, trend lines are there to be broken. We've come down into this new operating window down here. We've got our false break. Until proven otherwise, actually I'm going to stay on the short side of the dollar index here. And if we do get bounces, I'm just going to use those to then continue to get short rather than trading the bounce itself. So these are the options that traders are going to have. But the dollar index, and by proxy the euro dollar being the largest currency within the basket of currencies against the dollar, they are fascinating charts. In fact, it's not just the euro, the other pairs, major currency pairs have all got fascinating charts at the moment. But this is literally a chart here with all these trend lines on. Are we about to find out whether we get a break? If we get a break, that gives us yet more confirmation. If we come back down for those lows, it gives us yet more confirmation that we've got a larger break, overall, imminent. If we start to bounce some more, then the scope to come back up to that 103 to 104 zone is there, and then we'd see if it comes back down for the trend line. Then I would expect a trend line break there anyway, all still within this failure pattern that's taken place. So if you're thinking, well, no, that's a double bottom, Charlie, it has to go up. Well, they don't. The difficulty with double bottoms and the likes is that the charts fool us to an extent. So we can very clearly pick out, oh, there was a double bottom there, and the price bounced from there, and plenty of other instances like here, it bounced from here. So the charts fool us in a way, because the ones that don't amount to anything, our eyes don't gravitate towards. So for example, back here in this big old huge trend down here, there could have been a little double bottom over here, and in real time, oh yeah, that bar, if I zoom in slightly, that's a retest, we're going to go higher. Lots of indecision bars, we're going to go higher, and it didn't. The trend was only just getting going. Likewise down here, we had a low here, tested it, doji bar, that's it, we've got a double bottom, we're going to go higher. And we don't. So if there's a strong trend in play, they don't amount to anything. But we miss that sort of stuff because our eyes deceive us. We only see the patterns that actually did something. The ones that all didn't do anything, then the pattern sort of disappears and we don't notice it. So there you go. So overall, as far as the analysis is concerned, take your pick. Yes, that's what analysis is all about. Either have a long view, because there is technical argument here for the upside for the US dollar into that trend line, a little double bottom as we've been talking about, and a potential run to the upside. If you are looking at it the other way, taking in other considerations outside of just this analysis, then, and you think, no, the dollar's imminently going to break to the downside, stay with that view as well. That's what really counts in the market, is having a view, as I said at the beginning, and sticking with that view until the market does prove otherwise, of course. But otherwise, try and maintain your conviction, whether you are looking at whatever market, and whether it's long, short, whatever. Try and stay with your conviction. Don't allow yourself to get flip-flopped out. So here's a little bit of a trendline analysis here for you this Saturday.